Hello everybody, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm super excited to get this video up and going and kind of like this whole new YouTube magic. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but you probably know me from TikTok. I own Drips with Edwin right here in Houston, Texas. More in Liberty County, Texas, but I still consider it Houston, Texas. I'm gonna explain how we started Drips, our failures, our successes, and just the life lessons we've learned along the way so you don't have to make those mistakes. I already made them for you. So let's get started. Originally started Drips on January 2020. We didn't launch to the public until March of 2020. That's a little bit of the timeline. We only had about, I would say, 2 months of prep for the actual launch of Drips, and it was super simple. Actually, I came up with the name. Edwin came up with the concept. I will give him complete credit for that because it was his idea. I just took it and just structured it a little bit better for marketing purposes, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So a little bit of a backstory. Edwin was raised in Mexico. He was born here in the United States, but he was raised in Mexico. And in Mexico, in his teen years, he actually owned a detailing business. He would work it, I believe, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And yeah, he was just out there hustling. So he did that for about 2 years. Excuse me. He did that for about 2 years, and then that's when he decided to come back to the United States. We ended up meeting. And yeah, we ended up opening Drips Mobile Car Wash. And it was called Drips Mobile Car Wash. Now it's called Drips Detailing, Mobile Detailing. Knowing that Edwin had lost his job during the quarantine, it just put so much more pressure on me as a business partner to really deliver as much as I could and really make Drips work. It was really an all or nothing type of situation. We both put in both of our money, and we just crossed our fingers, really. And at the very beginning, one of the biggest things that I could really say and honestly give the biggest advice to you to do is, I used to have, I think, a car wash or a detail. I would do it for I think $40, or even some were just free at some point, because I literally just hired all my little local people, like the local high school kids, and I was like, look, I'm gonna give you all a job and we're gonna go detail cars for the next 2 months. And we did that. So I literally got my little crew, and I got them all shirts. They're really cute. They're like the blue with the white, yeah, the blue with the white raindrops, Drips over cars in the back. I hope I have a shirt, I'll show you later. And we just went to work. It was simple like that, nothing crazy. I think I just made the online site. I made the Instagram accounts, I made the Facebook accounts. At that time, TikTok was so new, and I made the TikTok account, but I didn't make the TikTok account solely to do TikToks. I think there's a lot of misconception with that. Originally, when I made the TikTok account, it was solely just to make videos and add music in the background. It was like the easiest way I could think of, instead of doing it on iMovie or something like that. It was just a lot simpler. So I ended up just making the TikTok account thinking it would go nowhere. And yeah, so not a lot, but a few of my videos went a little viral moment. Hey, okay. And yeah, here we are. And now we're on YouTube. I think our startup money was only, I think, 5-6 grand, and I believe the first 3 grand was solely just for the vehicle, and the other 3 grand was, you know, vacuum, some chemicals, pressure washer, the tank, a generator, and like a little what do you call that, the little extractors with the little ones. I think they're called the Bissell or Bissell, you know, the little ones. That's all we could afford at that time. And at the beginning stages, that's very difficult because you're barely making enough to just support yourself. And we just kept going and going. It was slow and steady wins the race, and I truly believed in that. I would go out of my way and talk to every single customer and try to be as professional as I could. And I think a lot of people responded very well to that, because from the very beginning I told Edwin, look, I live in this town, do not embarrass me. Do not embarrass me. I kid you not. I have to bring my A game to this, because not only this is a sink or swim situation, I put a lot of pressure on myself all the time. And if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it all the way. So we need to start off professional. I don't want to be a local like hobby looking detail. No, I want to look professional. I want to be professional. I want to have the respect of my entire community. So I made sure that was very clear to him at the very beginning. That's why I feel a lot of people resonated with us, because we were super professional. To the way we answered the phones, to the way we answered leads, to the way we would show up to any type of event or any type of detail. Everybody was in uniform at all times. We all looked the same. Looking back at it, I think that's probably one of the biggest contributions to what Drips is today, and I'm very happy for it. So at the beginning, we weren't having a whole lot of sales. It was maybe like a detail a day, and I was fine. I thought that a detail a day was enough to feed Edwin, myself, and my small crew at that time, and they were just kids. I mean, it's very easy at the beginning to lose motivation because you're not seeing the numbers like roll in, but give it time, pray about it, be positive. Good things happen when you're consistent. So be consistent, keep posting. Even if I didn't have any detail, I would just detail my own car for content purposes and show people products, how we did things, the longevity of things, pricing, just anything that I really could to make some content, I would. The infrastructure starts failing a lot. What I mean by that is Edwin and I have a lot of disagreements of how Drip should be running. This is the time where we're not really defining what he does, what I do. It was just like a mess of stuff. And it really wasn't until maybe like the 7th month that we're like, okay, we're gonna have to give each other roles. This is what you do, this is what I do, and that's it. On the field, you're the boss. Whatever, you have the final answer. Like, we're on the field, you have the final answer. If we're talking about marketing strategies, budgeting, customer service, complaints, that's me. That's where my word is final. I will take your opinion as consideration, but at the end of the day, my word is final, and that's what we agreed on. And ever since, it's been smooth sailing. A few bumps in the road like any other business, but a lot better than what it was before. Fast forwarding it, maybe about a year in, I just started losing a lot of, I wouldn't say I started losing interest, but during winter time is when my e-commerce store does the best, because it's Christmas, it's a store, people like buying stuff, it's lashes, people want to go to parties. And I just lost a lot of focus on Drips. I kid you not, I did. I just lost a lot of focus. I wasn't even posting at that time. And since we were so new, still at that time, sales were not being met, like quotas weren't being met. We had a really hard time that winter, and I thought that Drips was gonna end that winter. I thought we only had like an 9, no, maybe more like 10, 11 month streak, and that was it, because we were just barely getting enough to get by, but we weren't even making for profit anymore. We were just like breaking even. And obviously, who doesn't want to make money during that time? So, and I wouldn't say I got depressed, but I really got very sentimental about it. And Edwin and I's business relationship just completely failed. He ended up taking a trip in January, like the beginning of January, and he just got his stuff up and left. And I was really just here to venture on my own. I don't want to make him like I'm the victim or like he did something. No, I think it was necessary for him to go. All of his family is there and he really did miss them. So I think he needed some soul searching, and I did too. So when he was gone, he was only gone for like a week. And I took it upon myself to do both, not just run the operating side, but also the administrative side. I completely lost contact with my customers, and they didn't even know who I was at that point. They just knew Edwin. And also at that point, I never showed my face in any type of social media. It was just Edwin. And if you look back in my TikToks, you could see that I only showed Edwin at that point until he took that trip and I said, F it. I'm gonna be the face of Drips, not for forever. At the beginning it was just him. We made it very clear that he was gonna be the main focus, the guy in control of Drips, the face of Drips. But when he took that trip, I just said no, I need to show my face too, because I was deathly afraid, I'm not gonna lie, but I wanted to believe so badly that I could do this by myself. And that trip was much needed, because after that, I think I only worked for that entire week like 3 days. It was only the weekend because I didn't want to give myself like a panic attack, because I was so afraid of like messing up or something. And I went out, did the routes. I didn't do them by myself. I had 2 guys help me, and I'm so thankful for those days, for those 2 guys. I have such a sentimental connection to them, because I don't think they knew how afraid I was. And it was really that imposter syndrome kicking in, where I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm a girl. Like, I was really getting into my head that I have no idea what's going on, even though I wasn't even doing any type of buffing, or it was just literally just like details, regular details. I was just freaking out. I don't like to disappoint anybody, and I don't like to under deliver. And since Edwin was always in charge of the operating side, I was just very afraid that I was gonna mess up and just collapse Strips in like 3 days. Every time I pulled up, when I pulled up, they were shocked that I was a girl. They were shocked, like, oh, it's not in a bad way, but just like, wow, like, you're really doing something out here. And I was like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. It's my partner and I, but he's on vacation, and I'm taking over for now. That's when I really decided, no, I am gonna do this 100%. Because at that time, like I said, I was only given like 20% prior to that. I'm putting in 100%. And that's when you see, and you could literally see it in my TikToks, that I started posting myself and I started making more content. Also, another thing with Edwin, he didn't like making content because of 1, the language barrier, 2, he doesn't like the camera. And I do. I like the camera sometimes. And it ended up just working out pretty well. But when he came back, I kid you not, I feel like the baddest bee. Like, you could not touch me. I was just like in a euphoria of confidence that I could really do this on my own. I didn't want to do it by myself, but just having that reassurance of I could do this by myself, and I believe in myself, and I scared the living out of myself, and I still did it. And those customers are still returning to me, and I'm so grateful, so thankful. Those were probably one of the most sensitive times of Drips, of judgment, of fear, of rejection. And looking back at it now, I am very, very happy that Edward and I started this journey, and we were able to benefit a lot from this business. Very thankful for Edwin and everything that he has done. I don't really say that a lot to him, but I really am very, very proud of him and all the things that he's accomplished in his time being here in the United States. It's not very easy to come and just leave your family out of the blue, and he left them when he was like 18 years old. And even though he come in and out, it's still not the same. I have my family here, he doesn't. So I can only imagine the emotional investment he has to Drips. And I'm very, very blessed, lucky, and very fortunate to have him as a partner. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to me.